Anyhow, Mitt Romney won by 8 votes. Rick Santorum, however, I would say really, really won because Rick Santorum spent almost nothing in Iowa, and Mitt Romney spent a lot of money in Iowa, and Rick Santorum 8 votes behind. But that, however all that is playing out, I think, frankly, a lot of that is bread and circus. I've always said that Mitt Romney is going to be the nominee and that he's probably going to get a Tea Party, or in all probability, Marco Rubio as his vice presidential candidate to bring the Tea Party along. But, Martin Bashir recently had on Judson Phillips of Tea Party Nation, who said, the Tea Party will never get behind Mitt Romney, no matter what. And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. Let's find out from somebody who actually, is a Tea Partier and pretty high up, the former chair of the Tea Party Express, the author of Taking Back America One Tea Party at a Time, conservative talk radio host, his website, Mark Talk, Marktalk, Mark Williams. Mark, welcome back to the program.
Well, thanks, Tom. Always fun. And yeah, Rick Santorum spent like 72 cents a vote, and Mitt Romney over $40. I mean, it was just an amazing guerrilla effort on the part of Santorum, who peaked at just the right time.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that Romney will take New Hampshire because it's the state next to Massachusetts, and he's been playing. He's been furrowing that ground for some time, or whatever the word is, plowing that ground. And but South Carolina is going to be a real problem. But all of that said, and you and I usually when you come on, you and I beat each other over the head about the nuance of policy or politics. But on this, I'm looking to you for advice and insight. Will the Tea Party? First of all, there's 2 Tea Parties in my opinion, and you tell me if you agree or disagree with this. There's kind of the institutional Tea Party, the Dick Armey, Koch brothers, establishment Tea Party that has its own agenda, which is mostly deregulate the Koch brothers so they can make more money polluting. And then there's the grassroots, the average person who just shows up, who doesn't understand a lot of the nuance of what's going on, but just knows that they're being screwed. They don't know if they're being screwed by Obama or by 30 years of Reaganomics or what, but they're being screwed and they're mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. And will either of those Tea Parties get behind Romney? I'm guessing the institutional one will and the grassroots won't. What are your thoughts?
Well, you're right about the 2 Tea Parties, sort of. There's a civil war going on for control of the Republican Party right now, and for that matter, for the country, where the people are trying to seize control of their parties and of their government. And the establishment on both sides is fighting back and fighting back hard. We're talking about taking away a lot of power from them and returning it to the people. But when it's all said and done, after the 200 cities I've visited and the hundreds of thousands of people I've spoken with, and the radio shows I've done, in fact, in the last couple of weeks of the year, I did something like 24 shows in 4 or 5 different markets, and brought up that very question: what if it's Mitt Romney? And overwhelmingly, Tea Partiers tell me they will reluctantly, in most cases, but they will have to vote for Romney because their number one priority is getting Barack Obama out of office and reversing the last 3 years. But beyond that, the Tea Party rank and file has moved on from the presidential race to taking over individual Republican campaign committees and Republican districts all across the country, and is focusing primarily on getting enough people in Congress and in the Senate to exert a bit of adult supervision on whomever wins.
Yeah, no, I absolutely know that. I've seen the videos on Tea Party sites, and in fact have been suggesting on this program that people who are interested in progressive politics should be doing the same damn thing. And where the Tea Party folks and people like yourself are recommending that people show up at the local Republican Party and say, I would like to be a committee precinct person.
Exactly.
And the party will welcome you with open arms because they're desperate for, fresh blood, new people.
Well, actually, the party's not so welcoming. The party doesn't want anything to do with the Tea Party because, again, we have establishment Republicans who are just as bad as anything that the Tea Party dislikes about Barack Obama. We've got a group of people who divvied us all up. They all get something out of us. I mean, there's a reason why the average.
But you guys have, to a large extent, taken over a lot of the Republican establishment, and that's why you got 100 Tea Partiers sitting in the House of Representatives right now.
Yeah, we are trying to take over the apparatus of the Republican Party. It's not easy. I mean, here in California, we have virtually no Republican Party, and what we do have is just a bunch of dusty old white guys who do whatever they can to protect their own cushy positions.
Right.
So there are two battles going on here: one for the party and one for the country.
Right, and one for arguably the soul of the individuals. Again, on another occasion, we can argue about what about Obama you don't like, or the policies and things like that. That's a conversation that you and I have been having for years, and I'm sure we'll continue to. But what if Romney? First of all, what is it? To the extent that you say Tea Partiers are going to hold their nose and vote for Romney, history suggests that when on either side, that when the people of a party are asked to hold their nose and vote for a candidate, that a lot of them just don't show up. You end up with lower turnout. And with lower turnout, you end up, at least on one side, you end up losing the election. And so if you can't get some enthusiasm for Romney among the Tea Partiers, then he probably will lose to Obama. So that's why my theory is that he's going to pick Marco Rubio as his running mate, or somebody else who has good street cred with the Tea Party. I'm curious your thoughts on that, and if that would be enough to bring it in, and also on whether it's his Mormon religion or. I realize it's his flip-flops, and he's been all over the place, and he's taken liberal positions and et cetera over the years that, freaks out a lot of Tea Partiers. But also, to what extent do you think that his Mormon religion is an obstacle for him, not necessarily with the Tea Party, but just in general with the Republican base?
Well, for starters, I held my nose twice for George W. Bush, so it's not necessarily. I mean, there will be a certain segment of the population that will stay home because they're going to feel shafted. Yeah,
but you're a political activist. I mean, you would vote no matter what, but I don't think you're the average guy.
I would vote no matter what, and most Tea Partiers would. There's a fraction that won't. I mean, the Paul bots, obviously, if it's Romney, the Paul bots, God knows what they'll do. But at the end of the day, the Tea Partiers are going to support a hunk of wood against Barack Obama if that's what it takes. I mean, that's just the feeling.
Okay, so in the minute we have left here, Mark, if he puts on Rubio on his ticket, does that make it work for him?
I think that might help. He definitely does need to counter the establishment rhino taint that he has. And I really don't think, I haven't run into a big problem with the LDS thing except among some, crotchety old, callers who are just angry about life in general. Yeah. So I don't think LDS is all that important to most people. I think we just demystified that kind of thing when we elected a Catholic. We elected Kennedy was exotic, and the LDS is no less.
I think the LDS is a lot more exotic than Catholicism, but in the mind of most Americans. But I haven't figured out to what extent it's a factor. It seems, though, that John Huntsman was also a Mormon, and he seemed like quite a reasonable guy, and he got nowhere. And you wonder if that's...
he was mugged. He got mugged. John Huntsman didn't appear to me to be going... In fact, this whole field, if I could cherry pick what I like from each of the candidates, I would have the perfect candidate. As of right now, I don't see the perfect candidate.
Well, that's always the case on your side and on my side. That's always the case. Mark Williams, we will live to fight another day. MarkTalk.com, the website. Mark Williams, the former chief of the Tea Party Express, the author of Taking Back America, One Tea Party at a Time, and Conservative Talk Radio host. Thanks, Mark, for dropping by.
Thanks.
Good talking with you.